Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Before we start, I will post a copy of the lesson hands that we're going to be discussing. I'll do that again at the end of the lecture as well. So if you missed it then, you're welcome to take a peek at it now. Let me just remind myself of the boards that are 2, 7, 2, 7, 9, 12. 10. Okay, the topic for this lesson was non-forcing bids. I wanted to give some example of bids that weren't obviously sign-off bids, weren't obviously bids that partners not supposed to bid over them, um, and hopefully that'll stop the problem if you deciding whether a bid is forcing or non-forcing. Hopefully this will give you some idea of some bids that might sound forcing or invitational, but really they're just non-forcing. So the first one that was one of the lesson hands was board number 2. This was supposed to be a traditional part score scrap, the kind that comes up many times during the course of a session. One side has a fit, the other side has a fit. They have to decide where to go. Um, so on this board, board number 2, East and South both start with passes. West opens a spade. Even if they weren't in third seat, this is enough to open one spade. If you know the rule of 20, that's you add your high card points to the number of cards in your two longest suits. If that's 20 or more, and you have enough quick tricks, aces and kings, then you open the bidding. In this case, you have 11 high card, 9 cards and spades and hearts. Add those together, it's 20. We should open the bidding. The two aces solidify the fact. So West opens one spade. North is a minimum, but it's a good suit. I think 2 diamonds is okay. Uh, I would not suggest bidding 2-no with not only 2-no unusual, not only with the card disparity between diamonds and clubs, but the strength disparity. You much prefer diamonds to clubs. Partner with 3-3 in the minors will be, if forced, prefer clubs and you'll miss your best fit. So North bids 2 diamonds. That's pretty normal. East has 9 points. They're a flat hand, but they do have support for their partner. Not enough to make a limit raise, which they do by bidding 3 diamonds, but 2 spades is pretty normal. South has about the same reasoning that East had. They can bid 3 diamonds. Now, West is very minimum, but they have an extra trump. When you've got extra trump length, that should encourage you to take the push to one more level at match points. Usually, if you go down enough, they might have trouble doubling it, and even if they do, usually if you've got more trumps combined than you've promised, you want to try bidding that extra level. So even though West has minimum high cards, with 6 spades, they want to compete with 3 spades. The trick here is that this is completely just a competitive bid. Let me make the actual. This sounds invitational. If, sorry, going back. If South had passed instead of bidding 3 diamonds, so say it goes 2 spades, South gets very conservative and passes. Now West doesn't have to compete. They can always bid 3 spades later. So all of the bids are, including 3 spades, are saying, well, I'm interested in game. Um, Go on to 4 spades if you've got a maximum, don't if you've got a minimum. You can also make a new suit as a guide to partner to help them evaluate whether their hand's a maximum or minimum. But if partners raised your suit and the person to your right passes, for most people, a raise to 3 is a invitational bid. But when South does bid 3 diamonds, 3 spades is non-forcing. It's just competitive. I'm just I don't know whether I'm going to buy the contract or not, but I don't want them to play three diamonds. And I don't have any interest in game. I've got to make something up if I want to make an invitational bid. Here, three hearts is doesn't it sort of says uh that's how you make an invitational three spade bid. If you had the same hand as this, but with an extra ace, so that evaluates to about 17 or 18 points, you can bid three hearts to say go on to four spades if you're maximum. But three of the agreed suit is just a competitive bid. It's non-forcing. East is not invited to bid four spades. If they do, they've got to have a really good reason. Sometimes you've got surprise values. The partner you didn't know were going to be a value before. But on this hand, even though East has a maximum two spade bid, they need to pass. Um, that's the important lesson in the bidding on this hand. The other one was North, and we've seen this. You always see this. They like people like to bid four diamonds just because they have a singleton spade. Uh, Singleton spade is an asset, but you want to have competitive auctions usually are strongly based on the combined trumps that you have. When you overcall two diamonds, you promised a five card suit. You don't have extra diamond length. You don't have extra points. Your only big asset is the singleton spade. And you don't know that that's totally an asset yet. Partner on bad days, partner's sitting there with the king, queen, jack of spades, and your singleton spade is useless. You don't want to bid four diamonds with the north hand because you don't have the extra trumps or extra values to compete. You don't want to bid over three spades with the east hand because your partner didn't ask you if you were interested in four spades. They're both reasons not to compete. The other reason not to compete with four diamonds on the north hand is you're vulnerable and they're not. If it goes down two, like it does on this hand, it's going to be close to a bottom board. Common thing is you desperately want to avoid going minus 200 in part score battles. Minus 100 might be okay because they might make 140 the other way, but minus 200 is what's known as the kiss of death. So that was the big point on the auction on this hand. Three spades here is not an invite, it's just competitive. Don't bid four diamonds with the north hand because you don't have any extra diamond length or points. Okay, how about the play? So the suggested lead was the ace of diamonds. There's a few textbooks that I saw when I was growing up, and they seemed to be out of fashion now. But from ace, king, queen, they suggested leading the queen. Partner won't know what's going on at trick one, which is why it's sort of fallen out of favor. But when the queen of diamonds holds, partner can place you with ace, king, queen. Not many people play it nowadays, but I thought it might be worth mentioning. But the ace of diamonds is traditional. Now, so ace from ace king, that's pretty normal. Even though they have 10 9 8, they still should just play what's ostensibly a discouraging diamond. But they continue, and for arguments, they should know that their partner has the third diamond. North should know that because their partner raised diamonds and they didn't high low on the ace and king. But there's nothing very attractive to switch to. So for argument's sake, let's continue with the queen of diamonds. Oh, sorry, let me just turn that off. So, come on. So it's not auto playing singletons at me. And we rough that. Now we should have counted losers at trick one, but we knew they were going to take a couple of diamonds. So we've lost two tricks. Probably no spade loser. Hearts, you might lose one trick if the finesse is onside, is offside. And clubs, it's one or two tricks, depending if the ace of clubs is in north or south. The trick on this hand from the play was you want to, the only sure entry to dummy is the king of spades. King of clubs might be an entry, but you don't know. So you need to use the king of spades to take the heart finesse. So we can start with the ace of spades. We're in no rush there. But now we know we want to go draw trumps an end in dummy. The opponents only have two trumps left. So you want to play the queen of spades. Let's have them pitch diamonds. And another spade. Now we're where we want to be when trumps are drawn. Now we can take the heart finesse. And you want to do it so that you can take the heart finesse twice. If you play a low heart to the jack, now you can't get back to dummy. The defense can might be in trouble on this hand because there's a bit of an end play, but the defense might be able to keep you off lead from taking the heart finesse again. A better play is if you start with the queen or 10 of hearts. Let's start with the queen. Um, South probably should cover here, but just in case their partner has the jack. But let's say they play low, that's fine. Now we're still in dummy, so we can finesse hearts again. And now we're guaranteed we're not losing any hearts, we're not losing any spades. We've lost two diamonds. We can try playing a club to the king, but South has the ace. They cash two club tricks. So this was one where the point of that I wanted to make in the play was watch out. You knew what finesses you wanted to take. You wanted to take a club finesse. You wanted to take a heart finesse, but you needed to manage dummies entries so that because that was the only way you could take the heart finesse was when you were in dummy with the king of spades. You wanted to make sure they also didn't get some secret heart ruff. If you just played a spade to the king and played hearts and hearts and hearts, sometimes the distribution is bad and they can ruff a heart. So you wanted to draw trumps ending in dummy, then take the heart finesse, staying in dummy, then take the club finesse. If you're in three, if you stayed in three spades and you got your 140, that's the average plus kind of score that you want to get at match points. Top boards are great, bottom boards are horrible, but if you sit there, plug away, and you compete effectively and get consistently 60% boards, you're going to do well. Um, and these kind of part score battles are the ones that you need to use your bridge judgment. You basing it on the number of trumps is a very useful first guide. That's what I'd suggest on that one. Okay, that was the first hand, hand number two. The next one was the rest of them were later in the set. So the next one is number seven. Okay, this one is also a nice flat one, or three of the hands are fairly flat, but South has 15 high card. They could open a no trump. It's legal with this shape and this high card points. But you've probably got a fairly easy rebid. So if you open a club, you'll probably be able, you can rebid a spade over a heart or a diamond, and you'll be in pretty good shape. You'll have described your four spades and clubs. So I would, and you don't want to, so you don't have to pretend it's a totally balanced hand. So I would suggest opening this a club. Um, West has a pretty standard one no trump overcall. They have only 15, but the clubs are good. They've got some spot cards. I made them overcall a no trump. I think most people will. Maybe I should. Now, what I said in the lesson was most doubles in modern competitive bridge are takeout or card showing or even do something smart. There are very few doubles that are pure penalty nowadays. But one of the exceptions that almost every partnership or every player has is if you've opened one of a suit and they overcall one no trump, now double is penalty. You know your partner has about at least 12 points when they open. If you've got the strong majority of points, I'd say nine or more, you can start with saying double. That's just I have nine or more points. Doesn't really say anything else. One of the advantages is if we're going to double with every hand that's strong, anytime we don't say double, we're sort of limited. We have a weak hand. So normally, if it went like a club and they overcalled a spade, two hearts would be a natural enforcing bid. Sorry, I'll just show my theoretical auction. If they overcall a spade and now North bid two hearts, that shows, I'd say, at least 10 points and a good five cards in hearts. It's a forcing bid, so partner's going to bid again, and you're you have promise a rebid when you do that, for most people. Um, but this is an unlimited bid. But when they overcall the no trump, it's not unlimited. It's a non-forcing bid. Um, I think it should look something fairly similar to a week two opener. Usually six cards. Partners expected to pass most of the time. So you don't want to do it on like Queen fifth of hearts because partner will pass with their singleton and you'll get in trouble. So have it look like a week two bid. You can be more adventurous if you'd like, but it's almost always six cards. The big thing is it's not forcing. After they overcall a no trump, a new suit by the partner of the opening bidder is not forcing. It's trying to sign off in this bid. So here, North bids two hearts over the no trump. East says pass. And South should recognize that if two hearts is denying 9 points, now we don't have very much interest in game. We just don't have the high card points to be interested in game. We don't seem to have a fit. You don't want to rescue your partner into two no trump when you have no game interest or bidding two spades here. You need to pass these kinds of hands with South. Respect that partner's denied 9 points. They've got a decent suit. If partner had opened two hearts, we would pass this. For the same kind of reason and same kind of logic, we passed two hearts on this auction. Um, okay. And West also needs to be a bit disciplined here. Um, they have their 15 to 17 no trump, but they've described that. They need to leave it up to their partner whether to compete or not. We've always seen people, oh, I don't want to sell out to two hearts, and they bid two no trump. That could actually doesn't work out too badly on this hand, but it's not something you want to do. Once you've expressed your values with one no trump, usually you've surrendered captaincy to your partner. Let your partner make the decision of when you want to compete or not. So you don't want to do that. You want to pass it out in two hearts. Opening leads, the only thing I wanted to say is a strong suggestion, don't lead a spade. Um, we try not to lead unsupported aces. That just sets up tricks for the defense for the other side. If we lead the ace of spades here, it sets up the king and queen. Um, Clubs are probably out because it's still their suit. You know your partner has something in clubs because they overcalled a no trump. They'll have a stopper. But you'd still want to just lead an unbid suit if you can. So I suggest leading the two of diamonds. You have an honor, so you lead low, and you have four of them, so you lead the two. Partner wins the king. Declare may, let's, for argument's sake, declare tries to get tricky by dropping the queen. But they should be able to tell because their partner led the two, they have three or four in the suit. They don't have five. They would have led their fourth best. Because the two is the lowest one, Declare knows that, or sorry, West knows that the Declare has at least one more diamond, so they can cash the ace. And play another one. And we rough that. Is fine. Um, so if you project the play from this point, we want to draw a trump, so we want to get that ace of hearts out of the way. But if we play a heart to the ace, we don't have a good way of getting back to the north hand. So the line that I suggested was, let's try taking a club finesse here. It's probably going to lose. That's going to be bad. But now we can get back to the north hand by roughing out clubs. And that might set up a trick or two in clubs. It'd be nice if the ace of spades was onside, but you don't know that it is. And indeed, given that West is Oprah called a no trump, there it's probably in the West hand. So I suggested playing a club to the queen. They'll return a trump, I would guess. They might return a spade. That makes it even easier. And now we can go the ace of clubs, rough a club. Notice that we're rough. We have all these trump spots. So even if East wasn't going to follow to that, to the third round of clubs, they couldn't over up except with the king. Now we're in great shape. We can knock out the king of hearts, and they'll probably do that. But we can play another heart, and we've got the ace of. We'll lose the ace of spades, but we take the king of spades and the nine of clubs to make 8 tricks. So if you're playing north south on this board and you stopped in two hearts, great. If I think if you go to any other contract, it's going to turn out pretty badly, especially no trump. And if you made two hearts as well, also good. This was not an entirely straightforward hand, but the main bidding point on the hand was that a one no trump overcall is one of the few bids that's very penalizable. Double is for penalties, and if you have doubled for penalties, further doubles are for penalties. And given that we double with all good hands, all non-doubles deny those good hands. They're non-forcing bids. Um, and that was about all I wanted to say about that board. Alrighty, let's go on to board number 9. Okay, this is a bid. This was another north-south one. All right, so let's start with the auction. North starts with a spade. That'll keep east quiet. South isn't quite strong enough to respond with two clubs. It's only 7 high card. It's a it's a 7 card suit, which is good, but it's about 2 points light from being able to respond to clubs in standard American. Certainly, if you're playing 2/1 instead, it's nowhere near a 2 club bid. So if you can't respond to clubs, you're too strong to pass. One no trump is sort of a catch-all. It's if you're not playing 2/1, it's not forcing, but it just says I have 6 to 10 points roughly, and I don't have sport of spades. Okay. This should keep West quiet. He's got the points to make a takeout double, but the shape's sort of wrong. If you make a double, partner responds in clubs, it could turn out very badly. You're not going to be able to recover from that because if you double and then bid a new suit, that shows a really strong hand. So you need your takeout doubles to have either great extra values or support for all the unbid suits. You don't have support for clubs here, so you can't say double. Um, North should bid 2 hearts. They might have a 4/4 or even a 5/4 heart fit. Um, and the 2 hearts is a nice descriptive bid. You're showing 5 spades and 4 more hearts. That 2 hearts is not a forcing bid. It's limited to about 16 points. Okay, so what does South do here? South doesn't like spades and doesn't like hearts. Um, Tuno Trump would show stoppers in clubs and diamonds. They have that, but it shows more points than South actually has. It shows high card points that are near the top of whatever your one no trump range is. So in standard American, if you bid 2 no here, it would be almost certainly 10 points because you're committing yourself to the 2 no trump or the 3 level. A new suit, once 1 no trump has limited the hand, a new suit can't be forcing anymore because you've already said, I don't have that good a hand. I responded with a limited bid. So any new suit is still within the same range, and therefore it can't be forcing. If somebody's limited their hand, a new suit, with very few exceptions, is not a forcing bid. Here, if you bid 3 clubs, that is a non-forcing bid. It says, I don't fit hearts or spades very well. I don't particularly want to play no trump. I've got a good long suit of my own. At least 6, preferably 7, because it could be one of those hands where partner's got hearts and spades and nothing in clubs. So if you bid 3 clubs, you're just raising the level higher. So anyway, yeah, that's bidding theory stuff. 3 clubs is not a forcing bid. It's saying I think this is where we belong. Don't overrule me unless you have a good reason to do so. In this case, North should recognize that they don't have the points to bid, even think about 3 no opposites, a 1 no trump response. Partners say they've shown their 5 spades, they've shown their 4 hearts, and they're reasonably happy with clubs. It's still a misfit, but it's not that big a misfit. North should definitely pass 3 clubs, and that should end the auction. So this was the non-forcing bid on this lesson hand, is when one per responder has limited their hand, um, in usually with a 1 no trump response, then a new suit by the responder is not a forcing bid. It's still within the range of the limited bid, so it can't be forcing. In 3 clubs, oh, this is an ugly one. Poor West has an ugly choice of leads because everything we said is violate. Everything you can lead violates one of the rules. Uh, Club lead is just out. You definitely don't want to lead from King X of clubs. We've said don't lead an unsupported ace, so that sort of rules out hearts and diamonds. So just by default, I suggested leading the 2 of spades. If you let a red ace instead, that's okay, because it is a tough choice. But partner's going to think you have the ace and king of the suit. Um, so I would suggest the 2 of spades. The ace of diamonds is a not unreasonable second choice, but aces are meant to take kings. So we lead low from 3 to an honor, even in their suit. North should play low, and East should recognize that if their partner had the queen and the jack, Queen Jack 2 or Queen Jack 9 2, that they would have started with the queen, even though it's their suit. So because they didn't lead the queen, they can't have both the queen and the jack. Therefore, declarer has one of them. Therefore, we need to play the ace so the declarer doesn't get their stiff queen. Now, they have a sort of, they also have a difficult return. Um, let's have them return a spade. It's everything else is going to cost a trick. We want to make sure as declarer, again, our only solid entry to dummy is the ace of clubs. We want to use that as late as possible while we're leading towards the other stuff in dummy. Might be able to ruff a diamond. We might be able to play a diamond to the king. So there's a few possible lines here. Um, I think we should sort of hedge our bets, ruff a spade, and try a heart. Uh, if they duck this, we can win the king, pitch our other heart away on the king of spades, and now go after diamonds. You're gonna lose. You'll be able to get a ruff in diamonds. Um, that's one suggested line. If they, sorry, let's go back. They'll probably be worried that the heart is singleton as well, so they'll probably win the ace. Now you're in very good shape. You're going to get one pitch on the king of spades. You're going to get one pitch on the king queen of hearts. So you'll lose the three aces. You'll lose one club trick, and that'll be it. So again, a similar story to the to hand number seven. If you stopped in three clubs with everybody respecting their partner, that's great. I think that's the last reasonable plus score that's available for North South. And if you went down in three clubs, I certainly understand it's not that easy to play. Um, but if you were in three clubs and you made three, that's as much as you can hope to do with these kinds of hands. Again, as soon as you work out, the partnership gets into sort of a misfit track where they've each shown a suit, but nothing really fits, get out as quick as you can. Don't wander into no trump as a substitute for a misfitting suit. It just doesn't work out. You need points to take trick or points or a running suit to take tricks in no trump. If you're lacking one or both of those, try and play the least misfitting suit that you can. Here it's clubs. Alrighty, so that was board number nine. And oops. Okay, last one, which you just came in. Word number 12. This one is what I suggested was something that's in a lesson. Um so sorry. It's a systemic agreement, but I think it's one that's pretty common nowadays. West opens a no trump pass. So East has five cards in a major. They should not want to sit for one no trump. They don't know that their partner has three hearts. It might be, but a heart suit is certainly a possibility for a fit. So is a spade suit. If partner has four spades, then you probably want to play two spades. You don't have any interest in getting by that. But you can do what's called garbage statement. What that is you respond to clubs. Uh, South is unfortunate. They have 15 points. They'd love to make a call here. But once they've opened a no trump on your left, the value of this hand goes down considerably. Um, the kings are going to be covered by the aces. And if you double two clubs, that's not a takeout bid. Um, it's a because two clubs is artificial, double would say, I want a club lead when they play it. I'm showing clubs. I'm not making a takeout double of clubs. The standard rule of thumb is if they make an artificial bid and we say double, that's showing that suit. That's what your instinct should be. Doubles of artificial bids show that suit. Doubles of natural bids are usually takeout. Okay, so South has to grit their teeth and pass. West bid it doesn't have a major, so they bid two diamonds. Pass. Now East can bid two hearts. If you're playing garbage Stamen, which I think most people play nowadays, that is not inviting game at all. It shows this kind of hand. What we've said are one bid hands, where you're just interested in playing two of a suit. You bid two clubs to see if it was spades, but now, okay, we don't have a spade fit. Let's play two hearts. It's the drop dead bid. Um, I'd wait, I actually had this never mind. Old story. The no trump bidder is not invited to bid two no trump. With a super maximum, they can raise two hearts to three, but that's as far as they can go. The thing is, don't back into two no trump. They could correct it to spades, because East shows five hearts with this bid, or at least some hearts. If they had five hearts and they didn't have four spades, they would have just transferred and passed. So the fact that they went through Stamen and then made this sign-off bid of two hearts says they have four spades as well. West can correct two hearts to two spades. They could do that if they had something like ace king third of spades and two small hearts. Um, but that's about the limit of what West is supposed to do over two hearts. So this is one way you can get to two hearts. If you don't play garbage Damon, then I think East should still get out of one no trump. So in that case, they bid two diamonds showing hearts. Their partner bids two hearts, and then they say pass. That's fine. It'll get you through most of the auctions. The advantage of using this garbage stamen one is if West had a hand with four spades and two hearts, you'd end up playing two spades on a 4-4 fit instead of two hearts on a 5-2 fit. That's the big advantage of garbage stamen. It gets you to more bad fits with bad hands, and that's an important thing. Um, let's see. Let's do this one. I think the play, I sort of put it as if West was playing hearts. Um, it might go a little differently if you actually had the garbage stamen auction and East was playing it. South has an ugly choice of leads again. But let's say West was playing two hearts. The North opening lead uh, can't lead trumps. Let's lead fourth best from her longest and strongest. That's pretty normal. So a diamond to the ace. Uh, return the fourth best diamond. So when you win the ace, if you had ace and ace 4-2 or ace jack 2, you would have returned the jack or the 4. You would have returned the highest of your two remaining cards. So when you return your 2, partner should know you either started with ace 2 doubleton or you started with 4. They can sort of guess from the way that Declare is playing their diamond cards that it's 4 in this case. So they know to stay off playing back a third round of diamonds because it's going to give a rough slough. Not very obvious shift here, but let's, for argument's sake, say they play a club. South plays third hand tie. There aren't very many entries to dummy, so we might as the heart suit. We probably want to finesse the jack through north, but let's play the king first. Try starting playing the honors from the short side. If we had a ton of entries to dummy, we'd try playing low towards the king, but we just don't have the entries to do that. So I would suggest doing that. Now this is a common thing that comes up when somebody has ace and a lot of trumps, and they can ruff your side suit. In this case, north-south side suit are diamonds, but both east and west can rough diamonds. If you hold up on the ace of trumps, um, until the other hand is out, now you can attack diamonds safely. That's one of the things that good defenders holding the ace of trumps, they're not usually in a rush to take it. They want to get Declare to commit to something. Here, if you do that, and they still keep going after trumps, now you've got an extra. You can see now you're down to the same trump length as East. And then if you get in, if North or South gets in again, if they draw that, now they can play another round of diamonds, and it'll either be good or it'll set up South slow hard. So that was the other point on the auction, on the play, is when you've got the ace of trumps, don't be in a rush to take it, especially if it's going to tangle up Declare's communication if you duck. Um, it's just one tool to have in the defensive bag, where you duck the ace of trumps. But East definitely shouldn't sit for a no trump. They should either transfer or the convention that I'm suggesting you play is garbage stamen, where if you bid two clubs, partner bids two of a major, you pass it. Partner bids two diamonds, you can bid two hearts or two spades, and that says, I hear you. No, I was just checking to see if we had a four card fit in the other major, but this is where I want to play. It's a sign off bid. So that's the other example of a non-forcing bid. And I think most people play that way nowadays. Unfortunately, if you play with the robots on bridge base, they don't play it. They think two clubs and then bidding two of a suit shows a eight or 9 points and five cards in the suit and four cards in the other major. But most people play it's a sign-off bid, and that's what I'm recommended and what I suggested in the write-up. Okay, that was my four lesson hands. Let me put the hand into chat again, the file into chat again. And if anybody had any other hands that they'd like to go over, if they send a message into chat, I'll see it and we can go over and do that. Otherwise, I will wish you a good afternoon. Okay. Nobody has any other of the other hands that they'd like to go? Okay, that's fine. Well, folks, I thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the lecture. We have another one on Thursday. That's going to be responders' responsibilities. What responders should do when their partners open the bidding. We'll go over some stuff there. So we hope to see you on Thursday. Thank you for this afternoon, and hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stop the recording.